Alright folks, this is Harris Sultan, and today we're diving into a topic the UK government and the media would prefer you see through a very specific lens: Islamophobia Awareness Month.
November is Islamophobia Awareness Month.
And Islamophobia Awareness
Month. And Islamophobia
is
Islamophobia Awareness Month.
But before we unpack this, a quick plug. If you're here for the uncensored truth, head over to harrysalt.com and grab some Harry Salt merchandise. Every t-shirt or hoodie you buy helps this channel grow and keeps the truth flowing. Now, the main purpose of this so-called Islamophobia Awareness Month was to make people more sympathetic towards Muslims living in the UK. However, the campaign backfired massively as social media users took it in a rather different direction. What was meant to showcase how Muslims are supposedly mistreated in the West became an open invitation for netizens to highlight the uncomfortable realities of Islamism in the West. You know, those things we are apparently not supposed to talk about. This campaign kicked off in 2012, led by the Muslim Council of Britain and other groups, with the goal of raising awareness of Islamophobia and showcasing the positive contributions of Muslims in society. Heartwarming, isn't it? But while these groups might have hoped for heartwarming narratives, the public had other ideas. Instead of cozy stories, the Islamophobia Awareness Month hashtag quickly became a parade of stories and statistics on Islamic terrorism. Even I jumped in, posting a photo of the World Trade Center with the hashtag. Needless to say, that was probably not part of the plan. Just type Islamophobia Awareness Month into X, the free speech capital of social media, and instead of those uplifting contributions from Muslims, you're met with a string of reminders about terrorism and extremism. So let's do our part and raise awareness, shall we? A little trip down memory lane and see those amazing contributions of Muslims in the West. In July 2000, MI5 agents disrupted a suspected Islamic bomb factory in the UK, and a few months later, they foiled an Al-Qaeda plot to get their hands on pathogens for biological weapons. Not exactly the positive contribution one might hope for, is it? Then, in 2004, the MI5 Director General warned of worrying developments in the radicalization of young British Muslims. Spoiler alert, he was right. On July 7, 2005, bombs went off on 3 London Underground trains, killing 39 people. An hour later, another bomb exploded on a bus, killing 13 more and injuring over 700 in total. A shocking tragedy, made all the more chilling when it turned out all of the attackers, surprise, surprise, were British-born Muslims. And if you thought that was a one-off, think again. A foreign Al-Qaeda operative claimed partial responsibility just to keep the PR campaign of Islam is a religion of peace rolling. But why stop there? In 2017, a suicide bomber took the lives of 22 people at the Manchester Arena during an Ariana Grande concert. Because if there is one way to showcase positive contributions, it's by targeting young concert goers, right? Later that same year, an Islamic State-inspired teenager planted a bomb on the London Underground. Thankfully, the bomb only partially detonated, injuring only 50 people. What a relief, huh? And if the bombs weren't enough, we've also got vehicle attacks. In March 2017, the Westminster Bridge attack saw a man mow down pedestrians, killing 3 people before fatally stabbing a police officer. What an amazing contribution. If it weren't for those amazing Islamists, we wouldn't have those beautiful bollards on Westminster Bridge today. Oh yeah, someone took advantage of this Islamophobia Awareness Month and tweeted that too. According to the Met Police, this was inspired by international and Islamic-related terrorism. Why don't we see Buddhist or Hindu terrorists? It's the same story over and over again, and guess who is the victim in the end? Now imagine the folks organizing Islamophobia Awareness Month watching these news and thinking, instead of de-radicalizing our youth, you know what we need? A campaign to showcase positive contributions. But it doesn't stop at random attacks on pedestrians. Politicians and military personnel have also been targets. In 2010, MP Stephen Timms was stabbed over his vote on the Iraq War, and in 2013, soldier Lee Rigby was brutally murdered in broad daylight. Both attacks were carried out by extremists inspired by Al-Qaeda. These contributions from outstanding members of the community just keep coming. Right on schedule. It's a gift that keeps on giving. Fast forward to this year. In April, a Moroccan man was convicted for killing an elderly person in what he called revenge for Gaza. According to the head of the CPS Special Crime and Counterterrorism Division, the man admitted he would have killed many more people on that day if he had been able to. And in 2019, another previously convicted terrorist fatally stabbed 2 people in a London bridge attack, injuring several others in the process as soon as he came out of prison. Meanwhile, the UK government is still fumbling around trying to define what Islamophobia really means. In 2017, they announced the government does not currently enforce a particular definition of Islamophobia. Previous attempts by others to define this term have not succeeded in attracting consensus or widespread acceptance. Fast forward to 2020, and they finally propose a definition saying it includes fear, prejudice, and hatred that leads to hostility by means of harassment and intimidation. Okay, a step forward maybe, but in January 2024 debate, MPs still seemed unclear describing Islamophobia as rooted in racism that targets expressions of Muslimness or perceived Muslimness. That sounds like a definition written by a committee that couldn't even agree on dinner plans, let alone on a coherent response to extremism. Remember Batley Grammar School in 2021? A teacher brave enough to show students a caricature of the Prophet Muhammad in a religious studies class ended up in hiding after facing many death threats. The incident sparked debates on blasphemy laws, which were abolished in 2008. According to the Henry Jackson Society, extreme anti-blasphemy action for the sake of defending Islam has devastating impacts on lives in the UK. But I'm sure that teacher currently in hiding from extremists is comforted by the knowledge that the UK abolished blasphemy laws in 2008. Oh, and here's a recent one. A Taylor Swift-themed dance class turned into tragedy when a 17-year-old British-born citizen attacked and killed 3 little girls aged 9, 7, and 6. You know, the cheeky authorities didn't release much information, but protests erupted afterward, leading to over 100 arrests. Later, it was revealed that this person, this British-born person, had an Al-Qaeda manual and even ricin at his residence. How many times does this have to happen before the authorities address the elephant in the room? Since the attacks in Israel on October 7, tensions have only escalated. Demonstrations across the UK have sparked accusations of two-tiered policing. While the media insists these concerns are a myth, the public remains unconvinced. Newly appointed Shadow Justice Secretary Robert Henrik criticized the government after claims surfaced that authorities delayed the charges in a high-profile case for 2 weeks, fearing further protests. Then they wonder why people don't trust them. Heinrich argued that transparency is essential in terrorism cases to maintain public trust, which is needless to say at an all-time low. But transparency and public trust with the Labour government, with our two-tier Kia, that might be asking for too much. And now for some statistics. According to the 2021 UK census, 6.5% of the population identifies as Muslims. Yet Muslims are the victims of 38% of hate crimes. Definitely an overrepresentation. Meanwhile, Jews, who make up only 0.5% of the population, account for 33% of hate crime victims. Hate crimes against Muslims have risen by 13%, but hate crimes targeting Jewish communities have more than doubled. But don't worry, Anti-Semitism Awareness Week is scheduled from January 31st to February 11. How thoughtful, right? Hang on a minute, why do Muslims get a whole month for Islamophobia awareness, but Jews only get a week? Anti-Semitism, I think. So yes, let's all raise awareness this month, and let's do it in a way that actually addresses the reality on the ground. Because at the end of the day, the public deserves a clear, balanced view of what's really happening. And what other place to find uncensored, clear, coherent views on all things than right here on my YouTube channel. And if you want to keep this channel going, then check out Harry Salt merchandise at harrysalt.com. Sometimes a hoodie and maybe a new t-shirt is all the awareness you need. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Stay informed, stay sharp, and keep questioning everything. Until next time, ta-da. If you'd like to support my work, you can become my patron by going to patreon.com/HarusSultan, or you can simply buy me a coffee.